Hello YouTube family, this is a Sergeant Surge here. I'm making this video basically to explain the difference between these two cards, where some people say that the tap feature doesn't work with NFC, but I'm here to say that it does work. I have used this card. This is the card I used to show that the tap feature works. There's a quick video I made that showing it in action, so you can go check that out if you want to see it actually working. Now, however, that card does have some other issues. I'll explain that in a little bit. But it does work in the United States. First of all, I'd like to give Patrick Moore from Light Source Engraving a big shout out. He's the one that inspired me to pursue this journey and start making the credit card. Now, the card he used was this one right here, which does not have the capability for the tap and go feature. Now, in his video, he has all the settings, and I'm going to post a link to his video so you can go check that out as far as what settings to use and all that. So go check that out. Now, on Instagram, there's this company that they show you, they put a card down, and like half a second later, voila, you get your design, they put the chip on there, everything's good, and then you get your card back in the mail. Now, this card is fine, however, you can engrave the back, no problem, everything looks good. But with this card, if you do the same thing, you're going to tear it up. These cards, the back of it's different, as you can see right here. Some experiments I did, using the same settings in the front, will chew this card up. I did reach out to the vendor in China, but with some difficulty I was able to get some settings. However, I do not know what settings, what size laser they use and what lens they use, but I'll mention that later in the video. Alright, so first of all, these right here, this card right here does not have the little point for you for the antennas, which is basically, it runs along here, along the back side. You cannot see it on this one, but it's about a 1/4 inch wide, and it goes along here. So with this one, let me show you one where I don't think you barely see it here, but you can see right here, the mesh, but it goes from here, it goes up here like this, and it goes up and it goes around like that. Now, you have to be careful on the back side. You cannot use the same settings in the back side as you do the front. Now, the difference between this one and this one, also, this one sits in deeper as this one. So when you put this chip in, it has to sit flush. Otherwise, it won't work if you insert it inside a card reader. With my card, the magnetic strip works, but as you can see here, this is too deep because it sank in right here when I glued it down. As you can see right there, so you have to be very careful that this is flush. So it looks like, sorry about that. These are just little chips. This one I took out of an old credit card that doesn't have the tap and go feature. But basically it needs to sit flush like that after you're done. Otherwise, if you swipe it, it'll work, but then it tells you to insert the card. You insert the card and it doesn't work, which is what happened to this card. So I only can use this one for tap feature. But luckily I have a backup card in case that doesn't work. So it's always good to have a backup just in case. Alright, so as far as, yes, this one, like I said, if you go too deep, it's not going to work. This one, the card reader, when I insert it, works, but the antenna doesn't work. Now, as far as when you have to make sure you lay it flat on the card reader, because if you try to tap it like that, it will not work. You have to lay it flat. Sometimes I get impatient and I start moving around trying to see if I could find the sweet spot exactly where it goes. So basically, all right, onto the settings that the vendor has. These were the settings that they used on EasyCat. I don't know, again, I do not know what size laser machine they had or what lens they used, but they did use, the speed was 1000, power was 30, a frequency was 50 kilohertz, and a Q pulse of 100 nanoseconds. So again, those are the settings that the vendor uses. Now, with the barrier language, I have trouble understanding Chinese, but I was able to see a picture, and that's what I was able to understand. I'm going to post my settings that I use will work for me. And again, these are some experiments that I did, but at $22 a pop, you know, you don't have much real estate to practice. So, but I was able to get a decent engrave, and then again, I'll post those videos. So if anybody wants to share, wants to play with it and share their settings, and go ahead, be greatly appreciated. So if you have any other questions, reach out to me. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. However, I may take a little bit to answer, but please be patient. And I hope this works. If you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. Well, one last thing, after I did all this experiment, I get a letter in the mail from my bank, says, oh, by the way, for $10, we can make a custom credit card. Great. But anyway, I prefer my metal card because I can make my own design, and I don't have to worry about them saying, no, you can't do that. All right, YouTube family, that's it. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it and answered any doubts you had.